Hello. This is Jay Talks to You coming back with another video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to let me know that you are here with me. I wanted to come and talk today about Tyler Perry. So this is a bit of a stale topic. I think this happened about a week ago, maybe. But it was still something that I thought to come down and make a video about. Normally, I don't really like to engage in these kind of topics because they can be a bit triggering at times. And not only that, the spaces that these kind of things are discussed in are very overly saturated. I feel like we're beating a dead horse at this point with this kind of topic, especially within the Black community. It's a lot. But the other reason why I felt very passionate about this video, or really annoyed rather, about what Tyler Perry had to say is because of the fact that he has a very large platform, and he is somebody that I consider to be very influential, and has achieved a certain financial status. So the things that he said, well, let me just get into what he talked about. So I got this from I think it was, from the Shade Room. So I'll just play a bit of it and give my thoughts.
Society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men, right? There are a lot of Black men who are successful, but for the most part, Black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job, and is a good man and is good to you, and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill, as long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you've handled the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then, that is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in, because that means, no, I need somebody to, who is, they need to make 5 times more, and I got to have, go keep your list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hope it happens.
Okay, so we heard what he said, and I honestly, feel like, Tyler, you have to be trolling us. I feel like he's trolling us because, again, I was saying that Tyler Perry, you built a lot of what you have today, and your posturing in the industry. I feel a lot of that success can be attributed to your audience. The majority of your audience is Black women. So clearly you have to know that, especially in 2023, you have to know that this was not going to be received well. And some people in the comments said that, he was using Oprah and Stedman as a reference point. And I'm like, first of all, Stedman is an attorney, right? And the audience that this was not intended for people on Oprah and Stedman level. You're not going to be bold to open up your mouth and tell people on that level to take this type of advice. So that's not who this was targeted to. This wasn't. These are for the people who watch your movies. These are for the people who watch your shows. And, again, I guess this shouldn't be too surprising, because it's like, of course, Tyler, you're coming out to say something like this, because look at your shows. Look at the storylines of most of your movies. For the most part, Tyler Perry, a lot of the storylines have been very consistent over the years. It's rooted in struggle love. Your movies are always it's always centered around one matriarch, or, a younger woman. It's always based out of Georgia. you know, Atlanta or somewhere in the South. And it's a consistent storyline of struggle love. It's always struggle love, always, every single time. So it's not really surprising that you're here saying this. It almost feels like you are writing a script for another movie that you're putting out, but that doesn't stop me from saying that I still find this very disappointing. Again, because you're targeting this towards Black women, and you are a billionaire, if I'm not mistaken, millionaire, billionaire, like you make enough to where saying something like this is very irresponsible. And it's very dangerous because I consider you to be somebody that's very influential. You can't influence me with this kind of jargon, but you still are influential to certain masses, right? So it's just, let me just, kind of try to analyze a little bit of what he said here. So going back to the beginning, one of the first things that he said, is that while there are successful Black men out there, himself included, for the most part, Black women are out earning men. They're more financially successful. And while that is true, while that is the status quo, the question is why? Why? It's confusing to me because when you consider the the fact that we live in a patriarchal society, and to me that means for the most part this society is set up to favor men in most aspects, right? And the opposite is the case for women. We do not live in a society that's set up to favor us, right? So knowing that as the case, it is confusing to know that a man who is considered, the head of household, he's considered a leader, he's considered more financially savvy, he's considered smarter, he's considered, superior in so many different areas. This is what society conditioned us to understand. I don't understand how, if a man has all of that, how is it that a woman is out earning him? If when you think about the levels of hierarchy, women are at the bottom of the totem pole and Black women are even, further below that. So how is it that Black women who are at the bottom of the totem pole are somehow still able to climb up corporate ladders, are still somehow able to thrive financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and in every, other aspect in a society that's not set up to favor us? So for example, if I'm making, with all of these circumstances, if I'm making 100K, why are you not making at a minimum 100K or above? Why are you not able to? What is so special about me if I'm considered the weaker vessel? How is it that I'm able to achieve that? How is it that she's able to achieve that? And the other woman, and so forth and so on. Like how? And the funny thing about it is that for women that I talk to, I can't speak for every single woman, but for myself and women in my circle that I know and talk to on a regular basis, I think the general consensus is that you're not asking for the moon and stars. It would be nice to have, but I think that the outcry of most women is that at least meet me where I am. At least the bare minimum for the average woman is that you be on my average level, average or above. And to me, in my personal opinion, that's not asking for much. But we're living in a society, and especially in our community, we're living in times where women are shamed for asking for the bare minimum. They're conditioned to believe that below minimum, below average is what you deserve. And if you ask for anything more than that, something must be wrong with you. You are crazy, right? It used to be, oh, I'm a woman. I make 100K, so I need my man to make 100. I need my man to make a certain amount of money, or I want my man to have an education, at least be college educated. The pushback would come from, oh well, do you have a college education? Do you have the things that you're asking for in a man? That's the pushback. But then when she comes back and says, yeah, I mean, according to Tyler Perry, you need to have it all. So it's like, what do you now say when, okay, I do have the things that I'm asking for, the things that I'm able to provide for myself at a minimum. I expect that from the person who says that he wants to be in my space for the rest of my life. But there's still something wrong with that, because guess what? They still want to move the goalpost and still somehow bend themselves into a pretzel to get you to believe that that's still asking for too much. So here Tyler Perry is, he's here telling women to, if all he can pay is the light bill, as long as he loves you, as long as he's a good man, Savannah. Shout out to the people who know where I got that one-liner from. That's Waiting to Exhale. As long as he's good to you, if all he can pay is the light bill, that's as long as the love is there. In America, in this economy, in 2023, what job are you working that all you can afford to pay is a light bill, and she takes on everything else? I don't know how we got here. I don't. Because, and I haven't been on this earth for very long, but I do remember a time where men tethered their identities to, or part of their identity to, the ability to provide and protect. Was that always common in the Black community? That's questionable. But there was a time. So I don't know when we got from that stage to where we are now, where the requirement for a woman to be in a relationship or a marriage is that not only does she have to do what a man is doing, but she also has to hold down the household. She also has to rear children. She also has to be a nurse, a counselor, just everything. I don't know when we got there or when we got here. And everything that Tyler Perry said, this would all be well and good. It would all make sense if men were willing to relinquish the quote unquote head of household title. That's the only time when all of this would make sense. But your biological wiring as a man and ego will never allow them to do that. Because even the bummiest of bums know what they're supposed to be doing as a man. This whole role reversal thing, it would make perfect sense if they were willing to take a back seat and call a spade and say, you know what? If I'm going to require that much from a woman to be with me, then yeah, I need to take a back seat, and I'm not the head of household. But the problem is that you keep trying to fit you keep trying to make something fit that does not fit. It does not make sense. And in as much as a lot of men like to believe that women dwell in emotions, no, some of us actually listen to logic. Like, if it makes sense, I'm with you. But you cannot. I saw something somewhere, I think it was on Instagram, where it was a meme that said men these days are they want submissive providers. You can't, and that's there, and there's plenty of them to go around. There's plenty of them to go around. A lot of people, this the stuff that Tyler Perry is talking about, a lot of women are living this reality. And guess what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because to each his own. What works for me in my house may not work for the person next door, and vice versa. It's all about two people coming together and reaching a mutual understanding that works for the both of them within their relationship or their marriage. But for me, if you're going to preach something to me, it has to make sense. So yeah, a lot of men are looking for submissive providers, but then still wanting to say that they're a leader. No, that doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Those two things, they can never go together. Submissive and provider, they don't go together. Never have, never will. A woman's biological wiring is going to take over at some point. A man's biological wiring is going to take over at some point. There's no two ways about it. There's no way around it. And I didn't appreciate, although this was a short clip, it was a lot of gaslighting. It was a lot of fear mongering. The whole, when he was at the end saying, my list, that he has to do this and this. And then he's like, he did this condescending thing like, okay, baby, good luck with your list. That's fear mongering. Making women to believe that unless they relax their standards or just completely, throw them away in hell, unless they do that, they will, be single and die alone. It's too much of that. It's too much of that going around in 2023. And it's disgusting. It's really disgusting to me because, again, you have a large platform, Tyler Perry. Like, there are women who are taking this kind of advice and listening and getting what from it? Coming out of situations. If you're a woman and you've lived long enough, you've had experiences. I've had experiences. Everybody has had experiences at some point. And the funny thing to me, the takeaway from all of this, especially to women, it's crazy how I'm really tired. I'm really tired of all of these. Like I said, I don't ever comment on these type of things. I like to, it's like I said, it's just annoying to me. I really don't like to get into these type of topics. But when I see stuff like this, I'm like, no, no. It's alarming how many people are out there in the form of podcast shows, movies, different things that are in so many ways telling Black women, specifically Black women, to level down. What happened to telling men to, instead of telling a woman to level down and bring herself down, dumb herself down, why not tell these quote unquote leaders to catch up, level up? You know why? There's no incentive to do that. This type of stuff is popular. This kind of message will travel quicker than what I'm talking about. And even if men were to gather together to try to encourage each other to catch up, because women are dancing circles around them, where's the incentive? There's no motivation to do better. You know why? Because they know the society that they live in, and they know that there will always be a woman, regardless of how low level he is, regardless of how just whack. I hate to use just regardless of how whack he is, he knows that there will be some woman out there. I hate to say it, Black woman. And this is no shade to my fellow women, because I understand this is the society that we've been socialized in, that we've been conditioned to, live in. There will always be a woman, a Black woman, willing to accept him no matter what level he's at. So why do better? Why get a better job? He said, Tyler Perry just told you, accept him no matter what kind of job he's working, as long as he loves you. This is where we are. This is where we are. Tyler, I think he has a kid. I think it's a son, but I'm like, if you have daughters, is this what billionaire Tyler Perry? Is this what you're going to teach your daughters as well? This is like I said, I don't like engaging in these kind of topics because I'm even more passionate about things like this these days because I'm a new mom. I'm a new mom to a baby girl. And while I know that it's years and it's going to be years before she even thinks about dating, or even thinks about marriage and stuff like that, it's just still scary to think that if we're here now, then where are we going to be in a couple of years? I just feel like there's a lot of work that my husband and I have to do, you know. And it's even scarier because you realize that as a parent, you're not the only resource that they have. You're not the only form of influence that they have or that they will have. When they're coming up, yes, you're the primary person, but once they leave the nest and are no longer under your tutelage, they will be exposed to other people, different ideologies, and they have to make decisions for themselves. And you just have to trust that what you instilled in them, it doesn't depart from them, and that they remember, and let God take the lead. That's the best you can do, you know. But it's just, it's a lot, and like I said, as a woman, if you've lived long enough, you've had experiences. I've had several experiences, and I want to say for me, it took me, I think I started like really having an awakening and really having confidence in what it is that I wanted. Maybe about 4 years ago is when I started deprogramming and unlearning a lot of the things that I believed to be true when it came to having a life partner. It was a lot. I had to go through a lot of things. And like I said, for this is to me, this is the takeaway for especially for women. Do not, if you have standards that work for you, they're specific to you. Your standards are very subjective, right? It's something that works for you. Don't ever allow, and this, I know this is easier said than done because, like I said, I've had experiences, but do not ever let society project their expectations on you when it comes to your standards. Nobody's going to live your life for you. Put it like this for people who have lived long enough. What did you get for black women, especially? I'm talking to black women now. What did you get? What was the result of relaxing your standards? Because I know if you're like me, you've heard people tell you before that, oh, your standards are too high or you want too much. So you get scared. You start their fear mongering tactics come in, and you start thinking, "Oh, I might die alone, so let me, relax my standards or just completely throw them away." What was the consequence? What happened? How did that go for you? How is that going for you? And when women, like I said, when women relax their standards, they go out into the dating game, come back with the battle scars, the stab wounds, the stresses of life on their shoulders, their edges gone. And they now start to say, these were my experiences. This is what happened when I relaxed my standards. They still get judged. They still get criticized in the form of, oh, well, you should have chose better. Look at that. You should have chose better. So the way I think about it is like this. If I'm going to be judged for relaxing my standards, then I might as well keep to my standards and say them with my chest. This is what I want. This is what I believe I deserve. and go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You've already seen the consequences of lowering your standards. So what's the worst that can happen when you actually keep to your standards? Funny thing is, you might actually get what you want. That was my experience at the end of the day. You don't, I want people, and I know even if I'm not able to reach the masses, I'm like, for at least for women around me, friends, family, whoever, at least for people around me. I wish, my prayer is that we do away with this notion of struggle love. It doesn't serve you in any kind of way. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, it doesn't serve you. The whole, when I was growing up, I consider myself I have an old soul, meaning that when I was like 7 years old, I was listening to people like Betty Wright. I love Betty Wright's songs. She had one song, No Pain, No Gain. No pain, no gain. This is it. Before you even realize it, this is how you're conditioned from an early age, thinking that in order to achieve something, in order to experience love, it has to hurt. That's a dangerous mentality to have. Will you experience, challenges in life? Yeah, of course. There's no way around that. But why voluntarily sign up for that at the you know what? I could go on and on about this, and this is exactly why I don't engage in these kind of topics. I just want the Black community, especially, to do better. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, I'm very disappointed in Tyler Perry saying all of this, but I want to believe that he was trolling us. Um, this is Jay Talks to You. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and I hope that you and subscribe. These are some, like I said, these are some very, very, very interesting yet dangerous times that we are in. First Iyanla was telling, Black women that they should date bus drivers. Tiffany Haddish, I heard, is coming out with I guess it's a show or a documentary or something, um, encouraging successful women to date homeless men. And now we have Tyler Perry telling Black women to be submissive providers for real love. Auntie, uncle, leave us alone. We don't want it. Anyway, I have to go. Y'all have a good weekend.